Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Senior Living Today. My gosh, Cheryl, it seems like every time the weeks get shorter that we're here. But folks, last week, you know what we had, what we brought to you was a cooking show. The calls we had in, producers and what said it was one of the most viewed shows that we've had on the air. And we've done several of these. We thank you for the support. That's 19 counties out there that's looking at us. And we're not going to waste time tonight, Cheryl. I want you to get right to who we have that sponsor us, the ones that are looking to sponsor us, because we've got a great show.
We do. And our sponsors are what keeps us going here. So please patronize these folks every chance you get. Brett Hill is the managing broker for First Class Realty at Triangle East. Their office is in the Mills Complex. And if you have not had an opportunity to go over there yet, that building is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
On the inside, where the office sections are. It is a beautiful location. Brian West and the folks at Wires Inc., they will make your car real pretty. They do all kinds of upgrades to your vehicles. I mean, the heated seats, the remote start for your vehicle, lights of every fashion in the world.
And that's for all ages, too.
All ages, man.
Not just the young ones.
Not just young. You know, Brian's about half the age that I am, and he's got an $80,000 pickup truck, and I've got an $800 pickup truck, but they both need a bed liner, and that's what those guys do really well.
And you've heard that before. I know you know that line out there, seniors.
Yeah.
And who else have we got?
Patrick Ignacio. He is the owner and operator, head pharmacist with Ward Specialty Pharmacy, and they're a compounding pharmacy. And this time of year, they get real relevant. If you've got medications, if you're on Medicare and you have medications that might be going into the famous donut hole, go talk to Patrick. He may be able to compound that drug for you and be able to get it for you for a lot less than you're spending,
especially right in the annual enrollment period when a lot of people, like you said, are in that donut hole.
It's worth the time to take your prescriptions over there and let him take a look at them and tell you what the
And Cheryl, taking just a second as we're getting ready to introduce who we have with us tonight, and a wonderful little celebrity in our own field. She's going to bring you a lot of knowledge, especially in the senior end of it and where we're going. But folks, keep in mind, you want to work locally right now, senior living. What are we talking about? If you buy local, if you talk to local people, you deal local, there's a problem, what do? You pick up the phone, you get in your car, and you go see the person. If you deal with somebody out of state, you pick up the phone, you don't have any idea. May not pick up the same every time that you call. Could be somebody different. Deal local. Statewide will help you during this annual enrollment period. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, try to lead you into it. I think Friday was the 15th, the beginning of annual enrollment. And that's when you can have your Medicare Advantages, your Medicare Savings Plans, or even your original Medicare. And let's not forget what Cheryl just said, prescription drug plan. We call it the PDP. So keep it in mind, statewide is local, 880 Country Club Road. Cheryl, who do we have tonight to kind of bring some more enlightenment to senior living today?
We are very fortunate. We have one of the folks from the I'm sorry, I did it backwards, the Nash UNC Healthcare.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Phebe Idle.
Well, physician assistant.
Physician assistant, Phebe Idle. You are a hospitalist.
Yes.
Here at Nash UNC Healthcare.
Yes.
Okay. So, how'd y'all get here? How did Phebe and her husband and kids get here?
Well, I got here without children.
Okay.
But I came here with my husband Jason. We came from Charleston, but that's only because I went to PA school in Charleston, South Carolina at MUSC, that's Medical University of South Carolina. I came here for the job. I wanted to practice in a small community, and it's not that small, but
it's growing.
It's growing, yes. We met a few people here at the hospital. I felt like this was the place I needed to be.
Now, you said your husband, Jason, does he work with anyone that we would know?
He does. He works with Brett Hill with First Class.
Yes.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
one of the sponsors.
Yes,
here.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
One of
And
those
you,
folks.
how long have you been married?
15 years this December.
Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.
And children?
Congratulations.
2 children,
Oh, bless you.
5 and 2, 2 daughters.
All right.
And you're in the Nash County area?
We are. We live right here in Rocky Mount.
We have 19 counties, but I can tell you, Nash County right now is shining, and it's growing
Yes.
right here, and that's why you hear so much about it on Senior Living Today. Cheryl, what's our first question?
A lot of people, I'm sure, may not be real familiar with the PA program. You know, being the oldest guy in the room, I remember when that program got started. Tell us a little bit about that. You know, what happened there?
So North Carolina was home to the very first PA program. That was at Duke University. It was started by Dr. Eugene Stead. And he noticed that medics that worked in the Korean War, Vietnam War, they were coming back with a wealth of knowledge, medical knowledge and experience, and we didn't really have anywhere to plug them in. And that was at the same time in the mid-1960s where we were realizing, wow, we need more providers to take care of people. We don't have enough doctors. And so then you've got that shortage, and then these guys are coming, and women coming back from wars with all this experience. And Eugene Stead started the PA program. And it's where he took them through a classroom portion, about a year, and then rotations, just like, and modeled it after medical school. But a shorter version, a compact version of medical school, and created a certifying exam, and that's how you got the first class of PAs. There were four students in that first class. They were all Navy corpsmen, and they graduated in 1967.
Cool. I remember News and Observer had a big article, I guess, after they first got out, maybe when they were first starting, but there was a pretty big write-up about that program, you know, in the paper, and I remember reading
So
that.
1967 was the start.
Was the very first one ever.
So all of us sitting here now, think about this, even out there watching it from your couch. Where did 1967 to 2021 go? A blink of an eye. And that's why Senior Living, so many reasons, that is brought to you. Because so many things have happened, they will happen, and the current events that we have every day, they seem to change. Sure.
So, the Navy corpsmen were the first students. So,
Yes.
obviously, what was his name?
Eugene Stead.
Dr. Eugene Stead. Okay, he
Yes.
recognized that these folks brought incredible on-the-job training,
Right.
you know, that they had experienced in combat situations and things of that nature, where they had to really figure things out.
That's right.
And so there was a dramatic, you know, learning curve, knowledge curve for those people, and then you bring them back home, and instead of letting that get away, you know, we now have a program in place to capitalize on the experience they had.
Right. Put them to work.
Yeah, and be able to use it here in the public arena again. That's a great thing, and I hate to admit it, but obviously something good has come out of Duke University. And you know,
We'll get phone calls from that. I know we will. Let me go ahead and clarify it now. We have a Carolina grad sitting to my left, your right. As far as a PA, throw in a quick question for everybody out. PA, physician's assistant, is that correct? Or is it
Actually,
not?
no.
No.
Okay.
That's what, correct
No
me, please.
apostrophe yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
just physician assistant.
Physician.
Because no
Okay.
one owns us. We just work with the physician.
I got you.
We will always have a supervising physician.
That's where I was going. You answered before even, so there, even the doctor's present, but you still make rounds on your own, have your own list of patients,
Yes, we
et
do.
cetera.
That's
Okay.
right. And so now I work in acute care medicine in the hospital as a hospitalist. And so my supervising physician, well, actually at the hospital, I have multiple supervising physicians. And so every week I will have a doctor, sometimes two physicians that I'm working with closely, and we discuss every patient that I have. And so they know what's going on with my patients, and they will be, you know, they're in the hospital with me. to discuss anything. You know, they're just, if it's a phone call, if I say, hey, you know, I want you to come to the hospital room and see this patient right now, they do. Now, outpatient, that's a little different. I do practice just on an as-needed basis at a walk-in clinic. And so there my supervisor it's a little bit different. That's not acute care medicine. It's like primary care medicine, urgent care medicine. And still, I have a supervising physician that we've sat down and have had many discussions with. I have practiced medicine with them, but you know, once you have practiced for a few years and you know you have experience under your belt,
Certainly.
you can practice in that clinic without your supervising physician being present in that outpatient clinic. They just still need to be a phone call away.
Now,
if you need help.
if someone here, because I think if you look at the bottom, producer was so nicely to put, I think Phoebe, your name is at the bottom down there on the
Yes, sir.
left-hand side. So if someone wanted to speak with you or wanted to have you take a look at whatever situation, is there a phone number that they're able to contact you at the facility direct? Someone would want to kind of get in touch with you, especially after this show, seeing here airing. How do you suggest they get in touch with you?
So probably the best way is email. My name, phoebeidle@gmail.com.
And I think that's up there. Am I seeing that?
Oh, yes, it is.
You
Sure
can
is.
tell Senior Living today, I don't have my glasses on, I can't see that far, so everybody relates to Joey here tonight. But if you can see that, make sure you do reach out to Phoebe. What we're doing here tonight is just bringing new talent, new people that are already here in the community, but a lot of folks just don't know about them. And that's what we wanted to do tonight.
Define hospitalist.
Okay, that's also a somewhat new term. As the term would imply, we practice medicine in the hospital. Most hospitalists only practice medicine in the hospital. I'll kind of walk you through a scenario that will kind of help you remember or realize what a hospitalist does. All right, so say you're shopping and you pass out. And EMS comes to check on you, they take you to the hospital, you see the emergency room doctor and they say, oh, okay, you know, this is going to take a little bit more extensive workup. What they do, you're not going to sit in the emergency room and have all those tests done. The emergency room physician or provider is going to call the admitting hospitalist.
Okay.
And so that hospitalist will come down to your room in the emergency room, and they'll ask you the story again. So that by then, it's probably about the 5th time you've actually told your story. Okay, I just came from choir practice. I was at Sam's Club. I was looking at the light bulbs. I felt lightheaded, maybe some chest tightness. I passed out, and then woke up. I was laying on the dog food, and all these people were around me, and then here I am at the hospital. So we're going to want to hear that story. We're going to ask you a lot more questions. Then we're going to go put admission orders in, admit you to the hospital.
Okay.
And in this scenario, you would be admitted into observation, and we would start treatment. If you look dehydrated, maybe start some IV fluids. You know, tests on your heart if needed. You know, other things that can cause that scenario to happen. And so then, once a room is open in this situation in the cardiac observation unit, you'd be moved from the emergency room up there. You'd have a new nurse up on the floor. The next morning, another hospitalist comes and they want to hear the story. So you tell the story, 6th or 7th time now, and they'll let you know what tests have showed so far. Do your labs look better since you got some IV fluids? What do we still need to do before you can go home? And once everything is wrapped up, that hospitalist will discharge you. Now, unless you're there for multiple days in a row, another hospitalist may come on, but they're within our same team. And a lot of times at discharge, we're going to be communicating with your primary care doctor.
Great information. Folks, you heard it here on Senior Living today. I hope none of you have any of those experiencing. Wake up on the dog food aisle. Wake up to where you are, and how do you even have a clue? We leave it in the good Lord's hands. But we're going to come back. We've got more. Phoebe's got a ton more. Cheryl's got some great questions. We've gone a little bit long. Stay with us. Go to the kitchen, grab a snack. We'll be right back.
Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy. The annual enrollment period for your Medicare needs and changes is coming soon, October 15th through December 7th. Locally owned with over 75 years experience, Statewide Insurers Group provides the knowledge and expertise needed to ensure you find the proper Medicare coverage right for you.
Relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers you need now. Call us at 252-316-8166.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Senior Living Today. Great information up to this point. But during the break, I realized, and Cheryl was telling us, Phoebe, we got some great information we didn't even discuss.
Yeah.
So let's go to it quickly since time is short.
Okay. Phoebe, you and I had talked a little bit earlier, and you mentioned a program, the Community Paramedic Program, and I liked what I heard because this is kind of what I sort of look at as being, at-home care or aftercare, maybe after you've been in the hospital. Just tell us about that program.
Okay, so just this year, NASH has started the Community Paramedic Program. We started with just one paramedic that could go out and do wellness visits. And so that's one more touch we can get to you after you leave the hospital. And so case management is very helpful in finding those patients that would benefit from this program. It may be your provider, it may be nursing staff, but usually it's case management that will say, okay, we see this person, you have a lot of medications, you have a lot of things that are still going on. Maybe the acute issues that we took care of in the hospital are resolved, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes to medications.
Right.
And so then, we give you your discharge paperwork and we say bye, but it's always that, as a provider just in the hospital, it's kind of like, okay, I really hope they're going to be all right. I've done everything I can, but what else can we do? And this paramedic program is what else we can do. That paramedic can visit someone that qualifies for this program, and what they'll do is they'll come to the patient's house after discharge, like within a few days. They'll visit the patient in their home. They'll get a set of vital signs, listen to their lungs, make sure you got those medications or medication changes that we made, ask you important questions like, have you been able to follow up with your primary care doctor? Do you have any other needs that you need met? They may share some resources, but it's that one more check that we can get to say, are you okay?
Right.
And that gives, when I know that our community paramedic is going to be checking on that discharged patient that is just a little sicker than the other ones leaving the hospital, it gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Okay. So what is the ideas or the thoughts planning right now for maybe expanding that program?
Yes, there have been some fundraising from the NASH Healthcare Foundation to expand that program. We started with one paramedic. We want at least 3 paramedics, and eventually we'd like enough paramedics where we can do 150 wellness visits per week.
Wow.
And one paramedic can do about 25 wellness visits per week.
What we see a lot of times, especially right here on senior living, and if you will, Phoebe, address this. Even the phone calls that come in, our seniors may sit at home. Here's your scenario. Our seniors may sit at home. Cheryl, maybe a little chest pain. Maybe I'm not feeling well, and I'll use what you said a minute ago, maybe a little lightheaded. Being from your side of the fence, what would you look into the camera and advise our seniors not to do?
Chest pain is a red flag.
Amen. I agree.
And I'll give you some other red flags.
Please.
Chest pain, confusion, head trauma, new headache that's the worst I've ever had in my life, or any stroke symptoms. And we used to say FAST for stroke symptoms. Now we say be fast. So that includes balance. All of a sudden I'm off balance. Eyes. All of a sudden I lost vision, or my vision changed all of a sudden. Face. Okay, my one side of my face just doesn't look the same as the other. Arms. Oh, I can't hold my left arm up or something like that. Speech, like, oh, I was on the phone with my daughter and I couldn't say her name. That's never normal. You know, I couldn't say my own daughter's name. That's a warning sign. And so the acronym for stroke is B FAST, balance, eyes, face, arm, speech, and T is for time, because you cannot waste time.
Quickly. Yeah.
We can help you. We can reverse strokes in some situations if you get there within the time. And I'm talking get there in minutes.
Short amount of time that we're speaking.
Yes.
So
yes.
basically, as we're sitting here looking at our audience, if something does not feel, correct me now, doctor, brother, correct me. If something does not feel normal, don't just sit there. I've had many seniors, which I am myself. Well, you know, Joey, I just felt like I could sit right there and I'll be fine. Maybe I'll lay down and I'll feel better. And it doesn't happen. Pick up the phone, 911. That's the whole idea. Get to the facility of what we're looking at. Cheryl, anything you'd like to add?
What is the golden time? What's the
For stroke?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what intervention is going to be done. We'd like to be making that decision within 3 hours of the first symptom.
Okay. So if you experience any of those things, you just need to go ahead and pick up the phone and get the ball rolling.
In that case, 911, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's the point too, especially if you have someone at home with you, a spouse, a child, a daughter, a son. It's okay to take our pride, folks, and put it in our pocket a lot of times and just say, look over at your spouse, honey, you might, I'm not feeling right, you might want to call 911. That's what this program is about, to advise, teach, lead, and guide. And that's why we have the people here tonight. Short amount of time left,
Yep.
Cheryl?
One thing, you also mentioned a food pantry.
Yes, that's the newest thing at Nash. We're very excited about. So Nash County and surrounding areas have a higher rate of people who are what we call food insecure. They don't have enough food that they would need for the week or the day. And so that's another thing that nursing staff, providers, case managers help identify someone that may be food insecure. And now that we have this food pantry, at discharge, they will make a food box that is tailored to this patient's dietary, health, nutrition needs. For example, if they're diabetic, selecting low-carb things. And
Is there a place that we're able to, our population, our seniors, can they donate to the food pantry? Is there ways that they can come by and just...
Yes, probably the best way to find out about that is through the Nash UNChealthcare.org website and the Nash Healthcare Foundation portion of the website that will show you about how best to donate, and you can read some more about the food pantry and more about the community paramedic program and other
Okay.
good things that are happening at Nash.
Phoebe, we are a giving and a very kind society.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is when we always see someone in need, 98%, it's proven, 98% will reach out and try to assist. So do go to that website, as Phoebe is saying. We have to help our brother and sister, no matter what it is. We're in times right now that are tough times across the country, let alone right here in the 19 counties that we are airing, or right here in our backyard in Nash County. Cheryl, we have about a minute and a half left. Anything you'd like to wrap up? And then I'll go to Phoebe. Yeah.
What do you foresee for medicine in general, the focus or direction it's going to go in over the next 10, 20 years?
That's a tough question and debatable.
Right.
And this will sound very ironic, as I'm a hospitalist and practice medicine in a hospital, but I think we're moving more towards medicine at home. Okay. What can you do at home?
Right.
Hospital at home. It's kind of futuristic, but things like that are in the works. We already have telemedicine that can be brought into someone's home.
Right.
There are different palliative care programs where someone says, okay, I'm not ready to completely stop treatment, but I know I want to start focusing on my comfort, and my goal is to be at home.
Right.
Then there are ways to make that happen. So you want to ask yourself, when you are presented with difficult health situations, what are my goals of care? What are my values? I mean, go back to your basic values. What do you where do you want to be if it's your last days? Where do you want to be? So, and whether it's your last days or not,
there are decisions
nobody
to be
wants
made.
to just be in a hospital all the time, and even for a short amount of time. So what more can we do at home? A lot of home health companies are making that possible.
Yes.
Giving IV infusions to people at home so they don't have to stay in the hospital for long-term antibiotics.
And fortunately, Medicare has also seen that, and there's changes been made in Medicare benefits to now include.
Sure, we got 30 seconds, as I've been told, real quick. I want you to go with this. You're saying Medicare and Medicaid. Now, will that take care of a lot of what Phoebe is saying?
I believe it's yes. I mean, she's nodding. She knows. Yes.
That's not my area of expertise, but that's what the case managers and social workers help my patients for. Yes, they will. I'm sure at your primary care office they will have connections for case management and social work. But at the hospital, every patient admitted to the hospital will see a case manager and social worker, and they can help answer those questions.
Folks, in closing, make sure your red, white, and blue cards are up to date. Your Part A, hospital. Your Part B, medical. Make sure that your supplements, Medicare Advantage. Maybe it's your Medicare savings account that we've talked about here. Maybe it's just original Medicare. 65 and older. If you have questions, you do not have your card, you don't know a direction to go in, as Phoebe has said, as Cheryl has asked, there is an answer to your questions out there. Give Statewide a call. In closing, I want to say thank you to Cheryl tonight. Phoebe, what a great job, and all the information you brought to us tonight. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you. Thank you, Joey and Cheryl.
Senior Living Today, we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting us. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Good night.